So, welcome to Greenfield's Connecting During COVID video interviews. These interviews are designed to help us connect as a community of faith and share ideas and stories of interest and inspiration. And today I'm talking with Lyndell and Paulo from Brazil. One of the cool things about this time and this technology, which is a new technology, but I have to admit, I just never thought that we could do an interview from a distance like this before this time. Now, Lyndell is a professor at the Rio Grande Baptist Theological Seminary in southern Brazil with the NAB, and she coordinates a pastoral formation program, as well as teaching in a number of areas. So welcome, Paulo and Lyndell, to this interview. And how are you guys doing? I know Brazil is very similar to where Canada is in some ways, and you're self-isolating. So how are things going in Brazil?
Well, they're going well. We don't have, if you think per capita, we don't have as many cases as Canada does. So actually Brazil's not as in serious trouble, I guess, as Canada. Not that Canada's that serious right now, but I think Brazil entered self-isolation before Canada did, just based on what was happening in the rest of the world. And so maybe that's really helped, kind of flatten the curve here a little bit. But, it's like very much like Canada. All the businesses and commerce are closed in our city, but the grocery stores and pharmacies and those essential kind of things are open. One of the differences is you can just go into the grocery store. You don't have to wait in a lineup to go in. So actually when you go in, it's kind of ironic because there's tons and tons of people going to the grocery stores. I think they don't, they're not working right now. They have extra time on their hands. So it seems to be the grocery stores are a lot busier now than they were before. But I've been wearing a mask and,
Also, we are living in the capital, and our city has about 300 people that got fire. So there's not so many, maybe not so many. If you how can I say, compare with Sao Paulo, for instance. Sao Paulo has about 1,000 people that caught the fire there. So in our city, we have not an excellent situation, but a good situation for the rest of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as of today, actually, it's just our metropolis area that's in self-isolation. So that's about the 4 million people that live within an hour radius of the capital. The rest of the state, they've been given the freedom to go back to normal.
Oh, okay.
There's really no cases anywhere else in the state.
So that's maybe optimistic for Brazil, for you guys there, that maybe you did flatten the curve. But I guess ultimately, like even in Canada, it's and places, it's going to be time that tells, how effective this is. So now I notice you guys have beverages there as well, and so you're in self-isolation and so you're around the house all the time with Stella, your dog, and so your therapy dog. Yeah, no. But so are there some routines that you're kind of following, or how are you guys sort of staying sane? How are you? Are there some habits that you're leaning into, some spiritual disciplines at this time? So how are you guys doing in that regard?
Well, this is a very famous tea from southern Brazil with the gauchos drink. It's erva mate, for people who are familiar with that. It's a green tea. And so actually, this is part of our normal routine. Every day before lunch, we meet up wherever we are and sit down and have tea and kind of talk about our day and pray together. And so we've just continued that on. We've actually extended it a little bit longer just because we have a little bit more time. My routine hasn't changed a whole lot because my office is in our home already.
Oh.
So the only difference for me really is that instead of going to the actual physical building to teach, I'm teaching online now. And also any meetings that I would be involved with, are either online or canceled. But Paulo's routine has certainly changed. Do you want to talk about?
I'm going to the church just once a week to check the things there because we don't have any service there, but we have an employee. In home, I'm praying more. Usually, I have the discipline to pray 2 hours per day. Sometimes hard to do, but I'm trying. And I'm reading a lot of books too because I have maybe 30 or more books that I need to finish. So I'm trying to do that too. And we need to do the things in home too, cleaning the home, something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So,
our church, we're using Zoom to
Yeah,
have our church services, and we've actually increased. We usually only would have one service a week, but we've actually increased it to 2. So Wednesday night we're having a prayer time as well, and that's just to keep in better touch with the church and also to make sure they're doing okay and pray more for the situation going on.
well, that's actually interesting. We're using Zoom as well. Sunday mornings we connect and we use the breakout rooms and pray together. And then we also have a Wednesday night prayer time as well. So that's interesting that some of the same rhythms that the new initiatives or new things that we're doing are similar. Because I think that
Wednesday evening too, so that works.
yeah. Now I'm wondering, how has this changed your like life at the seminary? You've already mentioned that you're doing everything remotely, but you also, I guess, the seminary used Zoom. This is not new technology for you, but you've used it a lot. So can you expand a little bit on how it's changed the delivery of your programs, or has it?
Sure. We've been using Zoom for 4 or 5 years now at the seminary because one of our big challenges was getting seminary education to all parts of the state. And so Zoom really made that a good option for us because we really Brazilians are very relational. And so they've, the whole interaction that you can have on Zoom and like the breakout groups, as you said, that's been really positive for our students. So most of our students usually watch online because they're from different parts of the state. So there was the adaptation phase for the students who actually go to the building and teaching them, the technology at first. And they adapted quite well to that. But we do have a couple of situations where, we have one student who doesn't have internet at home, so he has not been able to watch our classes. So for him, we're recording the classes. And then we have another student who he's actually in the process of moving, and he's had some problems with internet interruption. Internet's a little bit slower right now because so many people are using it. And then we actually have one student who's in a hospital. She's on the front line, and she's had a lot of extra hours at work because of colleagues who have had to go into isolation or different reasons where the hospital's a lot busier. So once again, we're recording the classes, and she'll just have to catch up after, and we'll make sure she has ample time to do that. So, those have been the adjustments that we've made, and then just trying to keep in touch with our students as far as if any of them have any needs. Like the student who's having to move right now, he's having, he's really struggling financially. He lost his grandmother, who was the person who raised him last year, and so since then, I think he's kind of been living, with different people, and now is looking at having to move into a rental situation. So I've been in touch with him to see if he has even enough food, because we don't want to see anyone go hungry or anything like that. So just that kind of care, extra care, I guess, pastoral care for the seminary students has been really important at this time, and also even for the student who's on the front line, it's been very challenging for her emotionally, of course. But she's been given huge opportunities to share her faith. The staff she works with have asked her to have prayer every morning before they start their shift. And so it's really neat to see what God is doing in the midst of this.
So good. So now so it sounds like then, so your courses, like all of that's continuing without much interruption. Now, I'm curious, so your school year there, like right now, one of the things that people, like a lot of graduations, like even my daughter, she's supposed to graduate this year, so the graduation ceremony has been canceled and all this sort of stuff as an impact. So are you on the same sort of timetable? So like, are you doing a graduation this year, or is that something that happens in the fall?
Okay. No, actually, we're not on the same school year as North America. So our school year starts in February and ends in November. So we're just kind of, we're in our first semester, halfway through at this. Well, not even half. At the end of April, we'll be halfway through. So
Right.
kind of at the beginning. And one of the things I forgot to mention, we bring in professors from North America, as you know. Hopefully, you're going to be able to come in and teach. We currently have a professor from North America teaching, but obviously he's in self-isolation in the United States. So he's actually teaching from there, and then I'm also in the classroom or online as his interpreter.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully that has worked quite well. He's got good internet connection, which makes a big difference. We have pretty good connection at our home as well. So we've been able to adapt that way as well. But our graduation would be typically in December, but we don't typically have graduation every year. Our students, we're on a 2.5-year cycle for our pastoral formation course right now. So we typically have grad every 2 years because the students, we can give them their diploma if they need it, but they want to have a bigger graduation class to graduate with. So they're used to just, okay, I won't graduate even though I finished the course now. I'll just wait until next year and graduate with, some more of my colleagues. And that's typically how it works here.
Okay.
And we just had grad this last December.
Right. Okay. So and Paulo, like so the services moved a lot. Like, do you find that like is pastoral care, like obviously that's a big challenge. Like we've been on the phone a lot with people and connecting. Is that sort of what you're doing, or how are you doing that?
We are using WhatsApp a lot in Brazil. So I use to talk to people more than more than using the phone now, a landline or cell phone. We are just using the app to talk to people with some problems. But sometimes if someone asks me for a visit, usually I go to visit those people. But now this is very rare. I have a meeting today in the afternoon here because, but it's not common. Usually people, our church is small, so people usually solve some situation just using this app talking to me.
Okay, so I guess the last question just here is just like, how can we pray for you in Brazil? Like, is there any particular requests that you have, or at this time?
I have a praise item. I just got word yesterday. I've been just starting out my PhD, and so my dissertation proposal was approved without revisions yesterday. So that was really exciting in the midst of all this. So now I can go ahead and begin my research. So I'm excited, and I was assigned an advisor. I've adapted well to doing it online. I think now it'll be fun to get to know another person who will be my advisor. The person who's walked me through this whole first year, I actually knew him before, so that helps a lot. Prayer for me, if you could remember to pray for our seminary student Daisy. She's the one who's working in the hospital, just for God's protection for her, so that she can continue there and continue to serve her colleagues. I mean, like I said, she really wants to keep being there because God has opened up these doors of ministry to her. And she's also, always concerned. Her son has cerebral palsy, and then her parents are in the higher risk group because of their age. She lives with her parents, and they help to care for her son. She's a single mom, so yeah, she's just we always are keeping her in our mind. And then, just like in Canada, this is going to have huge repercussions on the economy of Brazil, and so that's going to affect the Baptist Convention here in Brazil, and how it supports church plants, how it supports the private Baptist school that it owns, how it supports the seminary, so that we trust that God will take care of all those needs and things like that. But we're, it's something on our minds, even our church people, that God will, one of them, we're not sure if he's going to have a job when this is over, and just a young guy starting out. So we're praying that God would just be there and provide for his needs, and we as a church, be sensitive if he needs us to help provide for those needs too. So those are, what we're praying about right now.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for connecting with us at this time, and it's nice to be able to see your face and to hear from you, and to just even get the perspective of this pandemic from a different location, like way down in Brazil or up in Brazil, or however you want to describe it. But so thank you for this, and blessings on your day and on your ministry. And we'll obviously be connecting more in the future. And it is my hope that I, will still come to Brazil, but who knows, maybe I'll have to do it online. But we'll see. So blessings.
All right. Well, we just want to thank, the whole Greenfield family for, being our partners and always, supporting us and praying for us. We're just really appreciative of that. I mean, we're here because of the support that Greenfield gives to us. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yep. You're welcome.